I can tell you, I'm actually on the Ukrainian electoral website as well, and any of our viewers can go there if they like. It's cvk.gov.ua, and with 56.18% of the vote counted as well. Zelensky's got 32.7% of the vote. Poroshenko, the incumbent at the moment, has got 16.5%. Tymoshenko has got 13.08% of the vote. So that's a live figure as well. So the Electoral Commission is going to give us what they deem to be the final two and who go through to the 21st of April runoff between what it looks like will be Zelensky and Poroshenko. And this is despite the fact that there was a huge field. I mean, 44 candidates at one stage. By the time we got to voting yesterday, there were 39 candidates on an electoral roll. It makes Brexit look a bit simple, really. It was 3 foot 8 inches long, apparently, I'm told, with a whole host of names on that as well. But what is very interesting is, are the Ukrainians voting for this chap Zelensky, or are they voting for a chap called Vasyl Holoborodko? Now, Vasyl Holoborodko is a TV character in a TV comedy program called Servant of the People. And Servant of the People is about a lowly teacher who by accident becomes a presidential candidate and then becomes a president as well. The actor who plays Vasyl Holoborodko is Volodymyr Zelensky. And this is the thing that many people are asking. Are people voting for this gentleman as a protest candidate because he's not part of the establishment, because they see he's not corrupted by politics, corrupted by the old regime, which sounds very familiar, doesn't it, from a populist standpoint as well? Or are actually, and this is a conspiracy theory out here as well, amongst his opponents, that actually they're voting for the same because this man is potentially backed by Mr. Kolomoisky, who is yet another oligarch, in fact an oligarch who's actually out of the country at the moment, because there are huge questions about what happened when Privat Bank, which he owned, went public, became nationalised, and actually then there was a massive black hole as well. So is he yet another politician backed by the oligarchs? And that is a theory doing the rounds here, because Kolomoisky owns the TV channel which Servant of the People airs on. Anyway, let's hear from Zelensky himself. We went to a very packed poll meeting, yes, a meeting of around his party headquarters for the day, talking to him as well. He talked to CNBC, and I asked him, look, well, what are you going to do? Because people don't know much about his policies. So what are you going to do if you're elected? Let's listen in.
If I win, we'll do a strong democratic Ukraine without corruption. What our president, Petro Poroshenko, he had for this, he had 5 years. It's not too many years, maybe for life, during the life, but it's very many for Ukraine. It's much time for Ukraine. So we'll fight the corruption system.
That is Volodymyr Zelensky. Yes, and as you can imagine, I did pep him with questions about specific policies, and I must be honest, I got very little out of him as well. But the point is, Jeff, you and I have sparred. In fact, we sparred about 4 or 5 years ago with me standing on perhaps this very same balcony about whether the revolution, the Euromaidan, was actually something conspired and made up by the West, or whether it was driven by the people as well. But what can't be denied is that the people want change. They do want an end to the corruption, whether it's the West who conspired to create Euromaidan or not as well. And there have been some really important reformers, such as Alexander Daniluk, who was a former economy minister under the current Prime Minister, and basically he left that government thinking that Mr. Poroshenko and Grossman's Prime Ministership could not deliver a route out of corruption as well. So I asked him about his indictment on the Poroshenko years. He had some very interesting things to say. Let's listen in to Alexander Daniluk.
Things went well, but I think there was one big drawback, is there was no real intention to fight with corruption. And that's actually ruined all other achievements, undermined, I would say, and ruined the trust of people, citizens of Ukraine, but also our international partners. That's a big, big, big problem. That's what actually went wrong. And so you cannot actually, move country forward really expecting citizens to agree to sometimes hardship, because not all decisions are, are pleasant, so to say, right? If they don't trust you. And there is no such trust. If you look at the polling results, the level of approval of presidents is all-time low. At an all-time low. This is unacceptable.
So has that jeopardised relations not only with the IMF, not only with the World Bank and the EU, but actually with the West as a whole?
Oh, definitely. That's and I unfortunately myself witnessed this in some negotiations, key negotiations. That's true, and this is for me as a member of a Ukrainian government that was a very painful experience, because I was trying with some of my colleagues to do good things. We were receiving support also from our partners, but I also was receiving signal. But overall, guys, we see that the intention of the president, the intention of the prime minister is totally different.
And this is the point. This is the point. You're laying the blame for the failure to tackle corruption in a committed fashion. You're laying that right at the door of Mr. Poroshenko.
Yes, he's clearly responsible for that. The thing is, I'm not just an observer. I was part in creating the National Anti-Corruption Bureau. Actually, I was working together with civil activists on putting the law in place, designing the law, developing the law. Then I was part of putting in place electronic declaration system, Agency for Prevention Corruption. As a minister already, I helped to put pressure on the parliament to create anti-corruption court. And so I see what this new architecture, anti-corruption, what it's capable of. But it did not deliver. And it did not deliver because I also seen with my own eyes that it was compromised by political interference of country leadership.
I was Alexander Daniluk, who was a former finance minister. I think I might have said economy minister before. I actually spoke to a former economy minister last night as well. Now, just moving on as well, of course, the other problem, huge issue that this country's had to deal with was the integration of Crimea into the Russian state by the Russians in 2014 as well. So they lost all that economic well-being. Plus, there's a frozen conflict with rebels backed by the Russians in the southeast of this country as well. So huge military and foreign issues still to come in this country.
Hi, I'm Joanna Bersecci, and thank you for watching. You can check out more of our videos by clicking on the boxes on the screen. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more from CNBC International. Thank you for watching.